Let me ask you a question. Who would you be if no one ever told you who to be? No expectations, no pressure. No need to be liked, accepted, or approved of. Just you. Not the version of you that learned to adapt, but the version of you that was never shaped by fear. Have you ever thought, would you speak differently, choose differently, live differently? And would you finally feel free to be you? Hi, I'm Sandra Rives. I'm a transformational authenticity coach and counselor, and I help people reconnect with who they truly are, beyond conditioning, people-pleasing, and the patterns that have shaped their identity. Because you see, most people aren't living as themselves. They're living as who they were taught to be, and they don't even realize it. So let's strip this back. Conditioning isn't always obvious. It doesn't always look like control or restriction. Sometimes it looks like being praised for being easy, being valued for being helpful, being liked for being agreeable, being accepted for not causing problems. So you learn something very subtle. Who I am is less important than how I'm received. And from there, you start shaping yourself around others, not consciously, but automatically. Over time, two versions of you begin to form. The one who keeps the peace, reads the room, avoids conflict, seeks approval. And then there's the one who feels deeply, has opinions, has needs, wants to express. But here's the reality. The adapted self gets reinforced. The authentic self gets suppressed. And eventually, you stop knowing the difference. Here's something most people don't realize. Living from conditioning creates internal conflict. Because your body knows when something isn't aligned. So even if everything looks fine on the outside, inside you may feel disconnected, resentful, tired, unclear, or like something is missing. And you can't quite explain why. That's not random. That's misalignment. It's what happens when life is built around who you had to be instead of who you actually are. Now, here's where it gets real. Letting go of conditioning isn't just a mindset shift. It's a nervous system shift. Because your system has learned, if I behave this way, I stay safe, connected, accepted. So when you start doing things differently, like speaking up, setting boundaries, saying no, and expressing your truth, your body doesn't go, well done. It goes, this feels risky. And that's why people go back to old patterns, not because they're weak, but because their system is protecting them. So let's come back to the question, who would you be without your conditioning? You wouldn't suddenly become a different person. You would become a truer version of yourself. Someone who doesn't over-explain their decisions, doesn't shrink to make others comfortable, doesn't say yes when they mean no, doesn't carry responsibility for everyone else. And you know what? You would still be kind, still be thoughtful, but not at the cost of yourself. So how do you begin? Not by trying to fix yourself, but by asking yourself this one question. Am I being myself or managing how I'm perceived? That one question creates awareness. Discomfort isn't always a sign something is wrong. Sometimes it's a sign you're doing something new. Instead of pulling back, get curious. Is this fear or is this growth? Start listening to what feels heavy, what feels forced, what feels aligned, and what feels true. Because your body already knows. It's just been overridden for a long time. This is the hardest part, but also the most freeing. You don't need everyone to understand you to be yourself. You were not born disconnected from yourself. You learn to disconnect, to adapt, to belong, to stay safe. But that doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're ready to come back. And that process isn't about becoming someone new. It's about removing what was never truly you. Now, if this is you, if you've spent years living as who you needed to be, and you're starting to realize you don't fully know yourself anymore, then this is the work I do. I work with people, especially women, who are ready to reconnect with who they truly are, not just intellectually, but emotionally and neurologically, because this isn't just about awareness. It's about rewiring the patterns that kept you stuck in old identities. And yes, it does require investment, time, energy, commitment. But the real question is, what is it costing you to stay where you are? To keep performing, to keep second guessing, to keep feeling disconnected from yourself. There is a version of you that feels clear, grounded, and fully expressed. And you don't get there by waiting. You get there by doing the work. So, if this is you, I invite you to consider working with me directly. Otherwise, please continue to watch my videos and like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And in the comments, let me know. Who do you think you would be without your conditioning? And remember, authenticity is always welcome here.